Broomstick here, back with another video. Gonna talk about my experience running JBW game and Peter Pan maxing. Go ahead and start with the JBW topic. Now, guess we can address this graph on my last video here. I mentioned, ethnicity, that's gonna play a heavy role in kind of your dating outcomes. And really interesting you see here, this is my video about the male wall, but if you focus on this middle column here, I'm kind of just trying to circle with my mouse. You can see ethnicity here, and you can see for the on the men, um, definitely being cream cheese amongst all the available ethnicities, Latin, Black, Asian, those being the other ones. If you are cream cheese, you do have an advantage in dating. It is a head and shoulders noticeable advantage. I think it's pretty much in the stats here. I think can't really argue it, and it's really interesting here. You see for men, however, Asian and cream cheese women are both kind of like equally desired for the category of women on the market, and I say Asian women kind of taking a little advantage here in a lot of the recent data I've seen, and I think that kind of is in line with I'm seeing boots on the ground. So and then you got the Marias here in the Latin women, they're doing great as well, and I've seen that boots on the ground as well. So something to be cognizant about, just a little preface as I go into my storytelling in this video. So um, I think when guys turn 18, they go into these waves where they kind of lower their standards to kind of just fit more into society. I see this a lot with a lot of guys. Their kind of ideal girl, when they describe it to me and stuff, it's kind of like a almost like a attractive, good facial physiognomy, whatever they're into, blondes, brunettes, whatever. But it's someone of their same ethnicity, and it's also, they have those good features, whatever they're looking for. And then in these like waves, guys somewhere past it's maybe age 17, age 18, somewhere in that, that real you enter young adulthood kind of age bracket where I see this. I see guys lowering their standards and just kind of so they can acclimate better to society and the actual market. And this happened to me too, and it was real weird. I remember kind of just and remember these are all preferences, right? We're allowed to talk about our dating preferences. This is not to cast shame or judgment on anyone of any, color or creed, right? Of course. But I remember looking at and being very, very into, women of cream cheese women and with good, facial physiognomy. And that was really what mattered. And somewhere around age 18, I kind of stopped looking for those kind of like Victoria's Secret supermodel. If you look up like Victoria's Secret fashion show, maybe like 2011, somewhere around those, when Adriana Lima was really like a trending kind of figure in the female iconography kind of like scene. Um, Blow my nose, y'all. Excuse me. And so I remember in that time, it was just that was really what enthused me. And just somewhere, I think in the social media landscape, right? This wave opened up where just kind of like shorter, thicker women really became in the market. And that's really what kind of did me in a lot. And then also, of course, I always had high openness, right, to dating women of all ethnicities. But I think more so of what it is when I went through my like round one, round two of kind of lowering my own standards past age 18 was I realized the cream cheese women, at me as a cream cheese guy, these cream cheese women just weren't treating me with basic respect. I was getting shit tested a lot. I was assumed the worst in most scenarios. Plausible deniability, was very low. Accountability would be very low. Like those kind of like annoying nuances. Whereas um talking to Maria or talking to Ling Ling or Priya for that matter, I would have much better results. I would get shit tested a lot less. I would be able to kind of use my words better. Communication seemed to work better. There was a lot more plausible deniability in conversations, a lot more kind of going into conversations with a lot more baseline respect, that kind of thing. So it's a lot easier to deal with those women, is something I quickly figured out. Now, this rapidly evolved into a fixation. It's more like my preferences got flipped on their head. I suddenly was like, I can't go for this tall Becky. She's gonna just shit test me out the wazoo. Then I would see like a shorter, thicker Maria and be like, this is who I want to talk to. Shorter, thicker Ling Ling, this is who I want to talk to. And it was just it. I guess what I'm trying to vocalize this rant is I don't know if this is normal. I think this is really I'm a product of a society that's kind of gone haywire, and I'm too far deep in to really change it. But as I was saying, if you are a cream cheese male, you feel like you're not maybe getting where you want to get on the dating market, consider this graph and consider what it says about, you know, you could get better success than maybe you think. It's just what's your openness to dating the totality of women of all ethnicities, of all colors, what is that? Is it truly as open as it could be? Because I think part of it was me having maybe what were my natural preferences, kind of, before the age of 18, my teenage preferences, if you'll say, of kind of those Adriana Lima looking women. I think it got flipped on its head just kind of as a means of acclimating before I even understood what was going on. And, this is coming at someone who I really found the BP when I was like a full fledged adult at this point, probably about 24, 25 in the year 2022. And, I'm in too deep at this point. But as I was saying, um, when it comes to just having to go through less shit tests, guys, and being able to just be more yourself, just being able to be a human being and just breathe easier, I don't know if I can talk to cream cheese women ever again. Um, I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but it's just I don't know what's happened. Um, it's just like the only time I ever feel like I can have human relationships is not with cream cheese women because the psyche or the programming or I don't know the word, but the way that I can interface with them, it just doesn't work. There's an incompatibility there's and I've had relationships with cream cheese women before, so I'm not saying you, you know, I could be part of the problem, but I think it's it takes two to tango, right? So if I know I'm extending the olive branch in most of all circumstances, and I'm the one trying to rise above, asocial tendencies that the Gen Zers have, of course, right? My generation, elder Zoomer. Um, am I the problem? Am I always the problem in these interactions, even when things were going so good at first, or something? A lot of things can fall out even when they're going good at first, and that's just what I think. Why the apathy is growing in this current generation of men and the dating market and things of that nature. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. But basically, what I'm trying to get at is you could run JBW game. That's something you haven't tried. For example, there's all the different brackets, right? Standard cell is kind of where I'd kind of classify myself. I'm maybe not getting the girls I'd like with the consistency I'd like, right? And that's totally understandable. But then there's also I think there's like Becky cells. And I think that's not discussed enough, where it's just these guys who are maybe cream cheese themselves and they have their own fixation on cream cheese women. But if you've seen anything like the JBWW video from Rehab Room, you know that there's just something. I think particularly post 2020, and I'm not trying to tinfoil hat on this too hard because I see the wisdom in the tinfoil hat people, but so I think it's really important they're heard out, and I would just want to throw this out there that that it is there needs to be an honest discussion about the jabs and if they've done anything to the psyche of people or and because I especially see this in my interactions with like cream cheese women where it's just like they've been radicalized maybe in a way, or there's like a programming or there's something where just around 2019, 2020, 2021, where things got really just turned up to just super bipolar crazy mode. And I think that's why you've seen the ascent of things like the Linglings and the Marias doing really, really well in these statistics with men's preferences for women in the market. Now, shifting over to Peter Pan Maxing, gonna take a quick sip of water. I just want to kick this off with a story. So, got dragged to a speeding date event by my BP friend. He's like, "Oh yeah, bro, it's great. You know, you just have some drinks. I'm a special occasions drinker. You know, I care about my diet, fitness, all that gym selling stuff, unfortunately. And you have some drinks, you talk to girls IRL, man. You know, it's not healthy, man. You know, all your interactions are with girls over the apps, man. It's not healthy, bro. And so I'm like, all right, man, I'm going. Just like, and I'm like, pay if you pay for my ticket, bro, I'll go. I want to see you, hang out with you for a night. He pays for my ticket. Really nice guy, money max guy, you know. So it's no issues for him. Um, and I'm going. And man, like I could have just got a ticket to go whale watching myself if I really wanted to, you know, do some whale watching myself, but ended up going to this speaking event uh instead, apparently. So I'm at the event. In the like 12 women I talked to, there was like one that was interesting, really. There was one other girl who was my age. I was in a really shitty dating bracket. It was actually the youngest women there were 26. I'm willing to try it again, but I'm going to the night where the youngest women are going to be 21. It's just going to be a lot better for me as like a, you know, elder Zoomer male. Dating, I think, younger women, particularly for sure. More around age 21 for sure. But I was talking to one other girl who was my age there, and I wasn't really into her, so it's like kind of like the she didn't have any, you know, no ion cannons, no onion booty. You know, there wasn't really anything going on there. I was kind of into. I wasn't into her face or nothing, so it was like, oh, it's kind of cooked. So at that point, you know, you had to sit down with this person for like 3 to 5 minutes anyway, just for the speed dating event. And I kind of start having fun with it, guys, right? Like I kind of start, you know, just uh, just going into these like random tangents. And one of the things I talked to her about, because I was like, I'm just gonna let it fly with this girl. I'm just gonna like be super degen, let her know what I've been up to, kind of smirk, smile about it, because like what can she do? I don't care if I match with this girl. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to be like proud of here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why not let it fly? And I basically start telling her about how I'm like, you know, going to Thailand and I'm gonna just like enjoy myself, how I'm enjoying kind of like the neat life. I saved up money working at a job earlier, made some good investments. You know, I'm kind of enjoying neat life right now. Just finished school in like past December, man. I don't know if any of y'all have been like a cream cheese guy in school or like university um in these past few years, but it's hell basically. And so I just got out of that hellscape, literal hellscape. And it's a good degree. Kind of it's a healthcare field. It's a good degree, but it's not, you know, I'm not like an MD doctor or nothing. So I still got to kind of like fiddle with the job market. It's not no, you know, end all be all. I'm just getting out of school. I'm kind of like taking a beat for myself. And I'm like telling her, I can just see her just seething, like in her face, like, oh yeah, yeah. Like, she hated that I had this like freedom, that I was like, had this like gleam in my eye for traveling. I think one of the things that maybe irked her was maybe that like the potential of me taking like my money and my time, my energy to, um, you know, see these like foreign women who'd actually maybe be into me when I'm supposed to participate in my local market and kind of be like a backup plan kind of guy. So, yeah, I think that's something you're going to see more of where these guys are Peter Pan maxing. They're they realize that the social contract has been broken. There's no when we live in a globalized world, men now have the option to opt out of the game, just leave the plantation, do their own thing, indulge in their own hobbies and interests. They can maybe cope with enough of these things like prawn and things of that nature to maybe stave off the need for a woman companion programming, or just guys find other ways to cope, like P4P abroad or something of that nature, and I think that's just the way the world's going. And man, it's just, I think, like, I harken back to that Morgan Stanley 2040 study, where 2030 study, where it's like the rate of single women is going to rise from about like 40%, and for this is around like age 30, age 35 women, it's going to be like 40% in 2030. By 2040, it's going to go closer to 60%. So I think that's part of it, man. Is guys are just Peter Pan maxing out here. Um, and they're not really incentivized by the culture. um the culture doesn't big them up, the culture doesn't give them any kind of baseline respect, or plausible deniability. It gives them full reprimandation anytime they do anything wrong, and it gives them full accountability, including for accountability of things they don't necessarily have autonomy over, such as another person's actions. And so guys kind of have this imbalanced relationship where it's like responsibility without authority. And I think they see this and they're like, wait, 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 the social contract's kind of broken. I don't necessarily have to be a protector and provider. People are supposed to provide for their own resources. I thought we were equal. There's all these arguments you could make. And I think that's where the world is just going. Male apathy is building and brewing, and it's gonna be what's gonna be. And we're getting into this world where guys are just gonna cope. And I've talked about this before on the Thomas White's channel. Great streamer if you guys aren't over there. But the only way I see myself becoming a dad, and I'd love to become a dad, but I think I have some issues. I'm just gonna, like, if you're on hair pills, or you're smoking reefer, or you're jabbed or anything like that. I'm not sure, you might have issues with your sperm motility or something like that. Like, and we're under attack by PFAs, BPAs, all these microplastics and stuff, where it's like, I feel like a guy's fertility years, it might be, like 16 to 25 or something. It might be getting cut lower and lower within. And I mentioned a couple of those things, right? But I don't have all those things, but I maybe have like two or three of one of those three of those things. So I think about that a lot, where it's like, is my sperm motility, I don't even know if I'm fertile, guys. And I've heard things about, you could freeze your sperm, but then you're paying out of pocket, what, like $200 a year. All the resources you can get at this point is, it means a lot. And anything you can put on the market to make money back, or any kind of money you can hold in a something like a money market to get a good return on it. Any way you can get capital, it's so necessary these days. We're in a really tight economy, right? So could I even afford to freeze sperm? um and I guess the point is, the only way I could ever really see myself reproducing in today's market is I would probably have to meet a kind of like shorter ethnic girl who's kind of really into me, because I don't know if the Beckys are really checking for me. And if they are checking for me, they're going to continually shit test me, and they'll want me to like tuck dance to essentially like fit into their frame somehow. And if I'm not willing to do that, then there's going to be a schism in the relationship. Maybe we have sex, we bonk a little bit longer, but then it's going to be cooked after that, and that's going to, you know in her eyes, the relationship's gonna be cooked as soon as I'm not cuck dancing a certain way she wants me to. Maybe she kind of uses me as like a dildo for a little bit longer than it's over. And I'm really sick of that. Whereas with, I think, my experiences with Maria or Ling Ling, it's more like kind of has more adoration for me, willing to hear me out on things a bit more. Um, I get shit tested less, and that's probably pretty much the biggest thing. So yeah. I hope this video was helpful. Those are my thoughts on running the JBW game, how maybe guys could employ it if they haven't already. Like I said, it kind of ties into men having to lower their standards after the age of 18. So it's maybe not really a pretty picture. I think kind of in an idealized world, guys have a chance with those women they kind of like at the age 17, 18, so they can have more, maybe better formative years and stuff. But, we're in a tight market, tight demographic market. And um, guys are kind of been the soldiers, cannon fodder throughout history. It's kind of, we're not, we're not always entitled to be born at the most opportune time in the most opportune place. You watching this video, imagine if you were born in Delhi, India. Think about how your life might be different. So um, I really appreciate y'all watching. This has been Broomstick signing out. Peace.